Okay, so let's start with the same process that we did with the first eye. So I'm going to get I'm just getting my picture up ready. So I'm going to go with the dark sepia in the Polychromes, and we're just going to get the shape of the eye like we did with the first one, get that all into place, and then we can start filling the eye in. So this eye is a little bit darker than the other eye, I think, looking at the picture. Okay, so we've got, just trying to work out here, we've got, okay, that goes, we've got the little corner there that's slanting up, a bit of an angle there. Okay, I think that's pretty much there. Let's make it a bit thicker. Okay, pretty happy with that, I think. I'm going to go back to this cinnamon in the Polychromes and just fill the outer part of the eye. I'm going to take that up into the next bit as well, because that is a lot darker than on this side. So it won't hurt to put the cinnamon as another layer. Okay, and then so I'm just making little pencil movements, as you can see, just to get the colour down. We're not worrying about any details or anything at the moment. We're just literally getting a feel for the eye and yeah, just make sure everything's in the right place. I think that needs to be less of a angle there, but that's okay, it's dark, so I can worry about that in a minute. Okay, let's just take that into there a little bit as well, so it's not just a sharp line. That's it, we'll worry about that in a minute. Okay, so I think we went with the Caput mortuum violet next, and this will help darken the cinnamon, the whole area really. And I'm not using a lot of pressure either. I don't want to have a thick line, or I'm just using it quite softly, just getting the colour in. And then it slightly gets lighter here. I'm just going to use this violet, Caput mortuum violet, just for this line here before it goes off into the fur, just so we don't lose it. And I think that'll be okay for that. I'm also going to fill in this corner bit bit more down this corner here. I'm just running it lightly over the dark sepia as well. Okay, I think that's a good start. So I'm going to add a bit of the fur around so I can do the darker bit. So we went with the primrose last time. I'm not sure if it's really the right colour, but it doesn't really matter because it's a base colour. But we can add colours further down the line anyway, so that's fine. So I've just got the primrose in the Luminance range here. And this is where you need to check the direction of the fur as well. Because as I mentioned with this cat, it's there's lots of different fur directions. And even when you're just starting, you know, like the first layer, you need to bear that in mind. Okay, like the corner here, it sort of goes up and around like a lip. Okay, then I'll come back down to this corner. We've got a very dark bit here, so I'm not going to go up to that. Okay, I think that would be okay for now, so we can carry on with the eye. It was just so we had a bit of a base layer, because we are going to be going over the fur part. Right, so let's go with the, I think we used terracotta, didn't we, a little bit as well. So I've got the terracotta back with the polychromes, and I'm just using this above the eye area, so pretty much on the fur. And I'm going to put that in the corner of the eye here as well. It does look way too bright at the moment, but once you get all the other layers on, it should make sense. It will tone down. But as you know, like well, you probably do know by now, with drafting film, you can't really blend as much, or really at all, like you can on paper. So okay, great. Let's come up the top here. And then we've got that flick off up that end. So that's what I mean about the fur changes. So I'm doing like a flicking motion with my pencil as well, because I don't want harsh lines with the fur. So I'm sort of flicking it out with the pencil. And then we start to come into that little line area, which I'm not going to do too much of at the moment. I just want to concentrate on the outside of the eye a little bit, and then we can start working on the middle or inside the eye. Okay. Right, let's go with the Caput Mortuum Violet now. Oh no, sorry, the India Red. So I've got the India Red here with the Polychromes. And I'm just going to go over the terracotta a bit with that. I'm going to take that over the cinnamon a little bit as well, just so it all goes together. So it is a bit darker, this eye. Okay, and then put a bit down here. Okay. Okay, let's start working on the inside of the eye. So I'm going to add the pupil first, I think, this time. So I'm going to go with the dark sepia in the Polychromes, and I'm just going to get that in. It's quite a simple pupil on this side. We've got no catch lights or anything to worry with this one, so a bit easier. Okay, that's all I'm going to do there. Then I'm going to go with the earth green, and that's just going to be a base layer for the eye. So we've got a catch light there. So I'm just going to get an even coverage with the green earth green, sorry. I'm not going to take it right down at the bottom here because we've got quite a dark area there. Okay, Okay, keep coming round. Again in the corner here, I'm not going to take this up right up. It's got a dark area there as well. Oh, that's a bit harsh. And again at the top I'm going to leave. Okay, just looking at the other colours we used. We used the green gold, so I'm going to go with that again. This is the green gold in the Polychromes. I'm just going to go over that. I just want to get the soft spot of the pencil because I don't want any harsh lines. I'm just going round and round. Okay, that's enough of that one. Okay, let's get the burnt ochre next. I'm going to take that around the edge here. I'm going to run that down the bottom a little bit as well. Okay, and then we'll put that on the top. Okay, I just dropped a pencil. Managed to catch it in my shoe. Didn't want that to fall on the floor because that's when you get them blunt. You break the top off, so I saved it. Okay, let's go with the, I forgot the name then, light yellow ochre. So let's add a bit more of a yellow colour now. Okay, right, let's start darkening the eye up a little bit. So let's go with the, I did use a bit of burnt sienna, didn't I, last time? So I've got the burnt sienna here. I'm going to go over the burnt ochre. A little bit down the bottom. And then it gets quite a lot darker this side. I'm going to bring this burnt sienna down here a little bit as well. Okay, now obviously we need to go quite a bit more darker. I'm going to go with the walnut brown in the Polychromes. So we need to start concentrating on darkening areas up now. This corner bit in. Okay, so I'm still with the walnut brown. I'll bring a bit more down here as well, darken that up. So you start to get pencil dust. Bit more in here. Okay, right, that does need to be dark, but I'm gonna get the black now for the pupil. Just need to put that in my extender. Okay, so I've got, oh actually I need the cold grey one first, sorry. So I've got the cold grey one. I'm just going to take this over the indigo and just blend it out a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to go to the black. I'm just going to fill that pupil in. Okay, I just want to get the burnt sienna back and just put a bit of that down here. I didn't bring it quite down far enough. Okay, let's get the light yellow ochre. Okay, let's do that catch light. So I'm going to go with the same colours we used over this side, the delft blue. Now we have got a little line down the middle here, but I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just lightly putting this in. And I'm going to get the cold grey one. Okay. Go with the dark sepia. Darken the outside, the eye, or around the edges rather. this dark sepia all the way around again, just to darken that up a bit. Go back to the walnut brown. I just want to darken this side up, but I don't want it too dark. Okay, okay, I'm going to go back to the light yellow ochre. Fill in this little gap we've got here with the yellow ochre as well. And just a bit more burnt sienna. I think we're more or less there with this one. Just going to get the white now. I'm using the Pablo white. I personally think it's the best white in the Pablos. I'm just going to go over this catchlight just to make it a bit lighter. Just do a few areas. And I think that's pretty much it. I don't want to put any more pencil down on the eyes now. I might do a bit more on the outside. You will see like a wax residue in the camera. It's one of those things with drafting film. It makes it a lot worse with the light on as well. If I turn the light off, you'll see what I mean. But when you've got the light shining straight onto the image, you get like a residue. So hopefully that proves what I mean. You don't get such a waxy look. But yeah, that's what it's like without the light on. So yeah, I think we're pretty much there with the eyeballs. As I say, I don't really want to put much more pencil down, otherwise it gets a bit murky and muddy looking. So I think we'll concentrate on joining them up now with the fur bit in the middle. And yeah. Okay, just before we do start on the middle, I've got my caput mortuum violet, and I just want to darken this corner up just so it looks even. So I've just got the caput mortuum violet here. And I'm going to run it up here as well, just to darken it up. And I'm just going to put a bit more over here as well. I always like to just fill in things as and when I see them. So I do apologise, I jump from one thing to another, it's just the way I work. I do apologise if it's confusing, but as I say, when I see something that needs doing, I do it. I'm just going to run a dark pencil down there. I'm going to go with the dark sepia rather than the black, just to get that in a bit more, a bit darker. And I am going to go with the caput mortuum as well, a bit in the corner there. Okay, that's a lot better. Right, now we'll start working on the fur area on the bridge of the nose. So, as I say, I'm not quite sure. I think we'll stick with the primrose because that's what we've been using. Hopefully you can see on the camera, it's quite similar to the ivory in the polychrome. It's got a bit more of a buttery colour to it. And then you've got the brown ochre 10% here, which is the one I use quite a lot. You can see it's got more of a brownish tone to it. But we'll stick with the primrose as a base colour. So here we've got quite a lot of different directions going on. We've got the fur meeting in the middle here. We've got it coming over and then it's coming down. So with the pencil we want to you know, use the pencil in the direction of the fur right from the beginning. So a bit of concentration here. So I'm going to cover this area with the primrose, and as I say, making sure I'm going in the right direction. Okay, and then I'm going to come over this side. I've also moved my light. I hope it's improved. It is hard to judge where the best place to put your light is, really. So I'm definitely not a expert in filming. Okay, and then I'm going to come over towards the middle. So let's just enlarge my reference photo. Right, so here we've got it going upwards. And it sort of sweeps around. I did put a few lines down to give me a guide as to where they change, and then it starts coming down. just looking at this area here, you've got all sorts of different directions going on there. But this photo is a very sharp picture, so you know, you don't have to do it as sharp as the photo, I say, as long as it's going in the right direction. Okay, let's just do a bit more on this side. Okay, I'm just going to do a bit more down this side. So we've got coming that way. And it's very short here, so I'm just going to go round and round just to get the colour down. I think it'd be good to get these corners in next, and then we can join the two sides up. Okay, so I've got the cinnamon, and I'm going to start over this side. So I'm just going to put a bit of cinnamon in the corner of this eye. Okay, put it over here while I've got it out. I think that's it for the cinnamon for now. Okay. Right, I'm going to go to the brown ochre 10% now. There it is. So this is the Luminance brown ochre 10%. As I say, this is a bit more of a brownish buttery colour to the primrose that we've had. So I'm going to start this side first. It might not actually be the pencil I'm looking for, actually. I think we've got a very darkish orangey colour coming down here. And then we've got this I'm just concentrating on the direction of the fur at the moment. And then it comes around. Okay, now let's have a look. I'm thinking maybe the terracotta. So I've got the terracotta here. So I'm just doing these darker bits first. And then as it gets closer to the corner of the eye, there's not really a direction of fur, it's just very short fur. Just going to get a bit more of that brown ochre and just fill out a bit more down here. That's not the right one. I've got the brown ochre 10%. I'm just going to bring it down here a bit more. And then I'll go back to the terracotta. Okay, let's put a bit more up here. So I think around these areas I'm just going to work in small areas at a time, I think, because we've got so much going on. And where it's a bit darker with this pencil, I'm just putting a bit more pressure on and then tapering it off where it's a bit lighter. Okay, so I'm going to go with the cold grey one, and I'm just going to fill in this area here. And before we go any further, it's not particularly sharp, but I don't really need it to be. So I'm just going to fill in the bottom part of the nose with the warm grey one. Sorry if I said cold grey, it's the warm grey one. Okay, I'm going to go back to the terracotta, just do a bit more with that colour. Need to bring it over here a bit more, then it starts coming down. I'm also replicating the length of the fur lines as well. I'm doing very short fur lines as well as I'm coming down towards the bottom, and I'm also lifting the pressure as well, so I'm tapering the pressure because it's getting lighter in places. I'm losing my voice. Okay, and then we'll move further up. I've also got the slice tool to put in any highlights if we want to later on. Okay, so I think I'm going to come over to the other side. Now, so I'm going to go back to the brown ochre 10%. And I'm going to do pretty much the same as what I did on this side. I've got lots of short little fur lines down here, so I'm just doing short movements with my pencil. Okay, do a tad more down there. Right, let's go back to the terracotta. Okay, now in this middle bit, I'm going to do little pencil movements. got lots of little short fur bits here. And coming over the nose. I probably could do with sharpening my pencil, but I don't want it too sharp anyway. It'll be fine. I'm just using light pressure. I'm just doing the odd ones down towards the bottom of the nose. Okay, and then this way we're going upwards. Okay, now that obviously needs to be quite darkened up, especially to the sides. I'm thinking maybe a Venetian red would be a good move rather than the India. Let's give it a go. So I've got the Venetian red with the Polychromes. See how this lays down. Do the same this side. I'm just going to bring a bit more of the Venetian red down here. Okay, and a bit more on this side. Okay, I'm going to go back to the terracotta, and I'm just going to put a bit more pressure on. Okay, coming over to this side. Right, so the next colour. Now I was thinking of the caput mortuum rather than the caput mortuum violet. If you can see, this one's a bit lighter, so I'm thinking of trying that one. So we've got the caput mortuum. These areas do need to still be darker. I think that's a better colour actually for this bit, and that's the sort of colour I'm looking for. Getting pencil dust now. Let's take that up there as well. And that's working quite well, that colour. Let's bring that down here as well. I'm just going to run that around his nostril area there, so we know where we are. And the more layers you put down, you do get a bit more pencil dust, but it is handy to have a brush next to you and just clear it away. And then this middle bit here, where it meets. Okay, I'm going to get the brown ochre 10%, if I can find it. And there you are. I'm just going to use this kind of like a blending tool, as well as just merge everything together a bit more. The Luminance pencils do seem to work well with the polychromes on the film. Okay, and I'm going to fill in these lighter bits here with it as well. And let's take that up there as well a bit more. Brown ochre now, and just filling in the lighter bits where I need a bit more colour. Okay, so I'm also thinking the raw umber, just to tone it down a bit. So I've got the raw umber. I've not used this pencil on this yet, but it might just tone the oranges down a little. Okay, I've got the burnt sienna here. I'm just going to put this in places. I don't want to cover all the orange up. Go over this caput mortuum as well. Might rich it up a little bit more. I think that burnt sienna is going quite well over the caput mortuum. The Venetian red we've used here is working quite well. It takes a little while to get your colours that you want. I think we're getting there.